incredible how much the landscape has changed. We've gone from absolute flat plains for so much of our journey through the outback, and as soon as we've got near the town of Cloncurry on our way to Mount Isa, heading in that direction, just all of a sudden the landscape has just changed to these rubbly type mountain ranges, which are like really beautiful. But yeah, just found it really fascinating that it just changed suddenly. There was nothing gradual about it. They were just there. The earth is quite a fascinating place. As we come over this little ridge here, you'll get a better idea of how it is looking. But yeah, it's stunning landscape. Really pretty. Trains that come through here. That was only a 3 carriage, often they're 4. Road train comes along these parts, you just make sure you get out of the way. Absolutely stunning. And hard to believe, having just come from all the dinosaur trail and learning about a lot of more of the history, that so many millions of years ago all this section of Australia was deep underwater. We were just talking about some road trains and some long ones that come along the way. We've just got hooked up behind 4 carriage one here. Apparently they can be up to 53 metres long, which is what was it, Jay, in how long of a kilometre?
About a 20th.
That equates to about a 20th of a kilometre. If you think of it like that, they can be pretty enormous. Well, there goes another one. So we're certainly in road train country, well and truly, and another one. So there you have it. So we've had to change our travel plans yet again because of good old COVID and restrictions. We were really hoping to finally be able to head down towards home via the Birdsville track through South Australia and through one of our favourite old town ruins, Farina. Unfortunately, with COVID restrictions at the moment, anyone from any part of Queensland is considered a red zone and not allowed to enter South Australia at the moment. So last night we looked on the map to find out what way that we can go home from Birdsville, already being that close to the Birdsville track. And we've stumbled across a way, I don't know the name of the road, it's State Route 14 that we're on at the moment. And we're heading towards, I think it was Tanbar, and we want to go down through Tibooburra. We've been there once before. It had a really cool, a really nice meal at the pub at Tibooburra. So if we can time it right, hopefully we'll be going through that. We can try another pub meal through there. But I wanted to just give you an idea of what these roads are, a lot of them. You can probably hear it in my voice that it's quite corrugated, starting to get quite corrugated. This is extremely typical of most of the roads. These are what they consider highways, if you like, going through these outback parts. So it's a really good idea to have made sure that you've crawled underneath your van and covered up with like noodles and things like that, any exposed parts and pipes that can get stones flung up and potentially damage those things underneath your van. We've also got a stone stomper we use, which is just perfect for this type of road conditions, which are really, really, as I said, common in these parts of Outback. And I'll do another video at some stage just on our stone stomper and how it works. They're just an awesome product. We saw just past it just back before a main road, what they call a main road, heading towards another, back towards Beduri, which was basically a dirt track. So that's about as good as you get in these parts. But yeah, just thought it would be worthwhile showing you all what it really looks like. Not a lot to see in a lot of these tracks. When we were going down the Oodnadatta, which was very similar, at least because it was crossing along the old Garn rail line, there was a lot of old ruined sidings and stuff, which was great to be able to stop and see. Haven't really seen any ruins down this part yet, but we might as we get further down. We'll just see. But for now, we've just got to make sure that we stay within the Queensland limits and New South Wales limits so that we can get back into Victoria without any issues and abide by all the border rules at the moment, which are constantly chopping and changing. So yeah, that's us. That's where we're at right now, and we'll check in a little bit later and fill you in on what we've actually got to further down the track. So who knows? We'll see where we end up. Just wanted to show and point out something that is really quite awesome and unique to these areas out this way are the sand dunes that we're coming through, and you'll see in the horizon just going forward. With the roads cut through, they don't really look much and you don't really feel like you're cresting over a sand dune. They're very similar to what you would see if you were crossing the Simpson Desert, but if you can imagine, we don't have these roads like this. It's just sandy tracks that are quite rutted, loads of fun to cross through the Simpson Desert. But yeah, the sand dunes here are just stretched out, and you'll see lots and lots of these as you go through more towards Birdsville area and then out towards the Simpson Desert country. But they're very cool to see these, and yeah, like I said, it does remind us a lot of what it was like when we were in the actual Simpson Desert, except for the fact that we didn't have roads like this. This in the Simpson Desert would be considered a highway for sure. There, we've crested. You don't even realise the way they've cut the roads through. You can see the van's certainly copping a bit of dust kicking up. Quite filthy. It's going to need a good wash when we get back. And the scupper valve that we had put on the van is paying for itself right now as well. We haven't had any dust getting into the van since we did that, so that was a really good call. So there you are. rest area over there. Sculptures of the dream time. The serpent is created with all the different types of gravel and gibbers that are found throughout the Shire. Huh, very cool. Stands out from the road. It's very cool. Huh? It's one thing we love about the Outback. The things you see in the middle of nowhere. All that van's going to need a good wash, as will the car. We've just pulled over at one of the many rest stops that you'll find along Outback Australia as you're travelling along. And I just wanted to point out, we are so absolutely thrilled, massive big raps to the state of Queensland for the amount of bins that we have found along our entire journey. New South Wales is pretty good at it, as is South Australia. But Queensland, you take the cake. You are just brilliant. We've not had to worry about rubbish anywhere we've gone. We've even gone along and there's just been nothing but a gravel pullover and bins in the middle of nowhere. There are some spots that we've come across like rest areas that haven't got bins, but that is a huge rarity because they are just about everywhere. I'll just flip you around. We've pulled into this one. And not just one bin, but several bins, and they're never overflowing. They are always being regularly emptied, and you know, it's just so good to see. Victoria really needs to take a lesson from you guys because you know, you're just absolutely brilliant at keeping your state clean and allowing us travellers to empty our rubbish as we go. Nothing ever accumulates, and so you don't end up with these huge tip piles everywhere that you do tend to find in a lot of places in Victoria. So well done, guys. Really, really awesome job. Look at that stunning terrain. Just constantly keeps changing out this way. On the rear tarmac. We've been travelling for quite a long time on a lot of bumpy roads, dirt, gravel, mud, dried mud. Been pretty rough for some of it. Looks like one of the doors is broken off in the cupboard, one of the hinges in the van, so we'll have to do a repair on that tonight, but that's what you get when you're out in these parts. It happens, but yeah, wouldn't trade it because it's just beautiful to see. This is just coming out of the nature trail for where we camped for the night of Windara. Really pretty trail, sandy track, but really flat and easy. Does a big 12-kilometre loop. Would be very nice to go around. They've labelled clearly trees as we've come in. There's a dump spot over there, and just on the outside as we come out of the trail there is a dump spot for caravanners, bins as per usual in all these towns. Very handy, and potable water if we want it too. Brilliant, great job. So I thought I'd just do a little pan around now that we're at this little station set up for RVs, and it's just fantastic. Like I was saying as I pulled in, it's got the dump point over here that Jason's working on the toilet cassette at the moment. A couple of bins that are empty and not overflowing, which is nice. And then you've got a drinking water tap, nice and conveniently, so we can just connect into it. We've got the van filling up at the same time. You can see just over in the distance, it looks like a really big solar farm. Really cool panels. I've never seen dishes like that before on a solar farm. Probably quite a bit to see in this unsuspecting little country town of Windora. Yeah, very impressed. They've also got a little bit of silo art. If you can see over in the distance, there's a bit of a fish on the side. You can't see it from this angle, but there's a bit of a fish on the side. So they've really done a good job at trying to make the most of this little country town, and absolutely thrilled. You can see there's the start of the drive to the 12-kilometre nature drive that we were just camping in just down the road there last night. As you saw, beautiful little spot. So definitely a great little town to stop in, do your fill-ups, and we're finding that there's so many places that are so RV friendly in the outback in these particular parts, more so than other states and other areas too. We haven't had to be concerned once with where to be able to empty the toilet cassette, where to get drinkable water. As I was saying on another post, the bins have just been absolutely everywhere. Sometimes you'll just have nothing in the middle of nowhere except a couple of bins. There's also been areas where we've come across that there's been nothing but a dump spot. So they've just done a brilliant job at really welcoming the RV and caravan traveller through these parts, and it really makes you comfortable and relaxed about coming to these places without reservation or fear. And as I said, we've been now travelling for 2 weeks solid. We finish up, today's Wednesday, so we finish up our travels on Saturday, so that'll be 2.5 weeks, and we haven't had to spend one of those weeks, one of those nights in a caravan park. We've been able to utilise supermarkets local. We've spent money in some of the pubs. We've spent fuel all along the way, so we're certainly putting money into towns as we go. The artesian spa the other day, attractions, all sorts of things, but it means that we can put our money and our hard-earned into those things, instead of the fact that we've set ourselves up to be totally sufficient. I just don't see the need and point to spend money when there's so many beautiful areas out here that we have to be able to explore and enjoy. So that's us for now, and we'll keep on travelling. Hope it helped. Talk about the weird things that you see in the outback. This is one of the reasons that we absolutely love travelling through the Australian outback. The crazy and quirky stuff just appears. And we're travelling on the Kyabra Road on our way to Erramunga, I think it's pronounced. And what do we just happen to see? This strange situation. I do not know why. You often never do. Is it art? Is it dumped? Who knows? But it's fun and it's quirky, and it's the Australian outback. And it's a good spot to stop for lunch. Oh dear.
It's like a missile being dropped from a plane and landed in a
So there you are. Gotta love the Australian outback.